Climax battles in Yakuza 0 act as a form of post-story content, something you can play for just for fun. These include proving grounds, melee battles, battles against Mr. Shakeitdown, and battles against the bosses of the game. There are two parts to these Climax battles, technically. So you have the Kiryu parts and the Majima parts. Obviously, the different ones you play as the different characters. For this video, I'm just going to be focusing on the Kiryu part for now. Majima one will be coming pretty soon. So, without further ado, let's get into it. If you have watched my video on the Kiwami ones, you'd probably know that there's a bunch of modifiers you could have. In Yakuza 0, there's only two modifiers you can really have. So, it's either you're weak or you're strong. Weak meaning you have no upgrades, strong meaning you have all of them. The main catch is that there's more ability restrictions, as in like you can only stay to one style in most of the challenges. Like in Kiwami, where you would usually have all the styles, but you would only stick to one because, you know, Brawl is just overpowered. Now, we will start off with the Proving Grounds. If you don't know already, Proving Grounds are essentially just mini challenges you have to go through with really specific requirements. These will usually include completing a level with heavy restrictions, such as being locked to one very weak style, or maybe just not taking damage at all during the entire fight. Either way, Proving Grounds can sometimes be the trickiest parts for newer players especially. Proving Grounds 1 is relatively easy. You simply have to defeat all enemies using only weapon attacks. Now, the key for this one is running for the cannon and just unloading that shit everywhere. This cannon will usually take out more than half the enemies, leaving only a few behind, and they're probably very weak from the cannonball. You can really go about this in any other way. I would recommend just grabbing another gun, just shooting them. Shoot each of them once so that they perform this little bleed out animation. This animation usually takes a while, and it does take away a bunch of their health. The only thing that stops this though is doing a heat action, so just make sure you don't do a heat action if they're already knocked on the ground, and it should be pretty easy. Proving Grounds 2, you just have to defeat all the enemies. Now this one's also relatively easy. All you have to do, well, all I did, because you're stuck in beast mode, just grab a couch and smack them all down, and once most of them are done, you can really grab the bat. Just make sure to perform a bunch of heat actions, because usually a heat action will either get someone really low or just automatically take them out the fight. And since you have baseball bats which do quite a large amount of damage, it should be pretty easy if you just get a few of them down. Proving Grounds 5 is where it gets a little trickier. For this entire section, you are locked in rush style and you are very weak. So good luck trying to do anything because this fight is a little luck based. So the general premise is they're just zombies, there's a group of them and there's one big guy in the middle. This big guy has the most annoying moveset known to man. Because you can't really block in rush style, you can only weave out the way. It's really hard to just get out of a combo once he's got you in. Because you're very weak, you don't have the damage weaving ability, so you can't really weave your way out of an attack, you just have to tank it. There's no other way. Combos don't really do too much damage on their own, but it's when they stack when they become a problem. The way I went about this, it's a little iffy, but stay with me here. What you gotta do is, you gotta do really short combos. So at the start, what you really want to do, just run up against a couple zombies, do short combos, so literally just one press of light and one of heavy in a combo, knock them down and just run around repeat. Or there is something I found at the very end, you could pile them all up, but you have to make sure the big guy's there. If the big guy's there, what you can do is you can just perform one massive combo, either get him to block, or you could like stun him up. This is kind of really good, because if you can get them all stunned in that one line, none of them can really hit you from the sides, meaning you just get free damage everywhere. So this isn't a 100% foolproof strategy, because you know, sometimes it could be one enemy that just goes around, ignores you, and just smacks you in the back. You don't even see it coming. After you take out about 4 to 5 zombies in each wave, another wave will spawn in, which is why you want to target the big guy first. Even if he has a lot of health, just getting them very low before another guy spawns in makes your life way easier. This will repeat 3 times, and then on the 4th wave, there should be another boss zombie that spawns in, except he uses a wrestler moveset, meaning he does a lot of damage, he can grab you, and he really loves blocking. Again, what you can do is just pile them all up in one area. It doesn't even matter if they block, because this wrestler guy, he doesn't really have any out of combo moves where he can just weave out the way and, you know, smack you. You just keep on blocking, or you could just get a lucky hit in the sides and knock him down. Well, you can't really knock this guy down, but yeah, you can do whatever you want with it. I would recommend using heat actions on the smaller enemies if you can, but this is a big but, right? You shouldn't really do this if you're on very low heat. Now here's why. Because in Yakuza 0, the heat system essentially affects how quick your combos go by. What you want to do is you want to kind of stay in that heat mode. You don't want to go down to the first gear, or else you just get messed up. You lose your speed, you lose all your quick steps, and you lose that precious combo speed. So I only really use heat actions if you can guarantee you'll get that heat back. Unless you're at the end with the wrestler guy, and I actually found this quite funny. What you can do is you can bait out one of his running attacks, he'll fall on the floor, and it'll give you a free heat action. I'm not joking, you can just smack him on the floor. This is a very lengthy one, hard one as well, but if you can just follow a couple combos, you know, circle them around, you will eventually get it by. It's more of trial and error than anything else. Proving Ground 7 is pretty easy. It's essentially just Miss Tatsu's training, but with a very strict timer. Essentially, you want to get 30 mil yen in about a minute and a half. You have enough time, but there's just a couple problems that lay in your way. Firstly, you want to grab the biggest box you see and just like smack those mannequins with it. You should definitely do this at the start of the fight to build up your heat, because I believe it's at the third, or even just when you're in heat mode, you'll just never be knocked down by the bullets. And there's like 4 mannequins with guns, and if you are not in heat mode, you've lost the challenge. Simply want to keep up your heat, and you want to just grab the biggest boxes. You don't really have to worry about the smaller ones. Yes, they're lighter. Yes, you can like move quicker with them, but it's just better to grab the bigger box and just smack it around. If you just take it in a straight path, or if you go to the middle and then spiral out, it really shouldn't be too difficult, unless you just get a glitch that I had happen, where the box just flies to the other side of the map and it forced me to restart. It actually pissed me off. It was not fun, but yeah, it's pretty easy. Now the last Proving Grounds, Proving Grounds 9, sounds a little tricky, and it is. Essentially, you have to defeat 4 waves of enemies in the Legend style without getting hit. I hate this one because some of the enemy moves just straight up hit you, even though you don't really see it coming. There's one guy that basically encapsulates this, but we'll just get to it, right? For the first wave, you have a guy with a knife, you have a fat guy, and you have a guy using the Muay Thai moveset. My best bet will just be to block, or you could do a twist counter. If you can time it right, do a twist counter, and it should basically just give you all the heat you need. Grab a bicycle and just smack them all down. Even like, if you just spam square with a bicycle out, they shouldn't really be able to hit you, except for the guy that, you know, Muay Thai moveset. But if you get him knocked down first, it should be pretty easy for the first wave. The second guy is a nerd with glasses, and he's also not really too tricky. You just don't want to, like, you want to kind of block first before you do anything, or if you can get a really good opening, just do a twist counter. You can also, if you have heat, use a heat action, but he does have some quick attacks that will catch you off guard. The third wave, you have 2 guys with guns, and you have this fat dude. Now these 2 guys with guns, pretty easy to deal with. You just want to dodge right before they shoot, and you'll never get hit. What you want to do is you want to bait the fat and just run around and then smack the guys with guns. Now this man is something I would like to call corporal dropkick, because he will try and dropkick you any chance he gets. Trust me, you could be on the other side of the street and he'll just dropkick you and you'll still take damage because he travels so far. Essentially, you just want to bait out this dropkick until you can get an opportunity to do a full combo on him, because at this point you should be at 3rd heat. If you're not, you shouldn't stress. You could just grab him, or you can just do a little combo and you should be able to take him out. You don't want to use the guns though. Do not use the guns. This 4th guy is a man in black. He has a really quick moveset, and I would recommend saving some heat for this guy so you can do this heat action. The essence of sumo slapping should knock him down, and it's really the easiest way I've seen him get down. Once he's done with that, just grab a gun and shoot him. 2 shots, 3 shots should take him out. If you don't have heat, it will be a little trickier. You might just want to bait him to the other side of the road and then quickly run for the guns and shoot him. Or if you're near the guns, you can just, like, you know, light him up. He's really weak to guns, so, you know, 1 or 2 shots should get him down easily. That's all the Proving Grounds done. To the melee battles. Melee battles are just normal long fights with just a bunch of enemies, usually stuck to one style or with lighter restrictions than Proving Grounds. Some can be a little tricky, but it's mostly about repetition rather than just knowing a set path and, going towards it. Melee's Battle 1 is pretty simple. It's just a little fight against 3 waves of enemies stuck in brawler form. You are strong Kiryu, so you do have all your moves with you, which is quite beneficial because your combos do a whole lot of damage. So just a 3-hit combo will usually do nicely with a finisher. You can do a snatching strike as well, or you can do a double finisher with the longest combo. You can also do some grab heat actions which can stall the timer, which is beneficial because you don't really have too much time near, but if you play your cards right, you should have enough time. Once the first wave of enemies is done, there should be a second wave. It should be a fat guy with a hammer and 2 of his friends. Target the guy with the hammer first if you can, maybe use a grab heat action. If you can't, just hit him with combos because they don't really block all too much in Yakuza 0. Do go down pretty quickly. The last guy, or the last set, is a guy with the katana. Now this guy is pretty lethal. What you want to do is obviously target the guy with the katana, but big problem, if he ever gets you down to like first gear in heat, you may as well restart, because once you're in first gear, you're never recovering from that. Your combos will be so slow, he will just constantly punish you, so it's best to just target him first, get him out of the way, or get his friends out of the way, and maintain heat, and, keep your eye on the timer. Then just, dilly-dallying. This one should be relatively simple, it's pretty easy at the start. Melee Battle 3, you are locked in the Coliseum in rush style, and this one's actually easier than the first one. Essentially what you're doing is just running around hitting people with the rush combos. They're not really, the first group of enemies isn't too bad. They're really weak, should go down. Even the heat actions, because you have a bunch of heat retention, you should be able to knock them down really, really quickly. Damage in the combos is so high up, they could block and they would still die. Be a boss coming in and the second wave, this guy's also really easy. You just want to bait out one of his jumping attacks and hit him from behind. One combo should do into a heat action and he's down. Third guy, Fist of God, he's also really easy. He does have some pretty heavy hitting combos, but what you just want to do again is just circle around him and then hit him with a massive combo. One heat action should do, but if you ever need to, you can just kick him while he's down. Should be third melee battle done. Melee Battle 5 is really hit or miss in my opinion. Essentially it's just a room full of guys with guns. Now the trick with this one is, once you spawn, grab the umbrella stand to your right and just swing it at the guy closest to you. What you're aiming to do is just knock him out and get to third heat. You get to third heat, this challenge is easy, but if you miss and you get knocked down, there's no recovering. I'm sorry, but there's just no recovering. You're not winning that. So make sure you get to third heat so that you don't get affected by the people shooting at you. And it's easy from there. There'll be guys with shotguns coming in the second and third waves. They'll usually have a bunch of guns or like swords with them or something. They're not too bad. Again, you're in B style, so as long as you're swinging, as long as you're attacking, they will never be able to knock you down, as long as heat mode obviously. And because Beast is broken in Yakuza 0, you'll just do so much damage, they may as well quit. Melee Battle 7 is a little trickier, and this one I'd say is the most luck-based of all of them. Essentially, the goal is to defeat all the enemies in 10 seconds using only weapon attacks. Actually, I don't know if there's only weapon attacks, but well, you don't do much damage, so you might as well just not. The trick with this one is to run to the shotgun that's on the other side of where you spawn and just using that to unload on all the enemies. There is a catch, there's a guy behind you with a shotgun as well, and he is a little annoying. He's the reason why it's a little luck based. Actually, what you want to do the second you spawn in is run for the shotgun on the other side, but right before you pick it up, like the millisecond before you pick it up, just dodge, because the guy behind you will automatically shoot, and if you don't dodge and you pick up the gun instead, you're just going to get knocked down, you fail the challenge. So you dodge and just pick up the gun, you just want to turn around, walk forward a little, and just keep pressing triangle, keep pressing the shoot button. Doesn't really matter. If you see the guy with the shotgun aiming at you, you can quick stay out of the way, but you could also do it just quick enough so that he'll never get a chance. I'd say practice this one because it is quite luck based, so you're going to have to go through it quite a few times, but eventually you will get it down. It's not too tricky to memorize, it's just you need to time it perfectly. Melee Battle 9, so the last melee battle, isn't too tricky either. It simply is just a massive battle against 4 kind of higher ranking goons. Go about this fight any way you want, how you would normally go through it, because they're all different move sets. So, you know, you could just get up some heat, and once you're in that heat, you could use B-style, or you could use Brawler. You go about it any way you want. I would still recommend using heat actions because, you know, they'll stall the timer, but you do you. You do you. And once that one's done, that's all the melee battles done. Hooray! Millionaire battles are probably the shortest section in Climax battles. Essentially, it's just fights against Mr. Shakedowns of different restrictions. With Kiryu, there are 3 fights. 2 of them where you are very weak, and 1 of them where you're strong as fuck. The first battle against Mr. Shakedown is Millionaire Battle 1, and essentially you just need to defeat Mr. Shakedown and get as much money as you can. My bet with this one would just be in Brawler form, you know, if you want to get it done with the most cash. If you want to get it done the safest way possible, you can use the Rush style, because Rush is pretty good once you get that heat built up. I'd just say avoid using Beast at all costs. Even accidentally switching to it can mess you up. Just make sure to dodge behind them and don't get too greedy. You can usually just do a 1 then finisher hit combo. Just repeat that. It's going to be a long one, but eventually you'll get it down. Millionaire Battle 3 is against Mr. again, and you just need to get 10 million yen. The way I went about this is just going straight to Rush and just circling around them. You can do really quick combos with him, and one thing you should try and bait out is being close to him and then trying to bet out his little arm swing attack. This attack gives him so much downtime that you'll be able to almost get a full combo in when you're at full heat. You see, the less heat, you're not going to get as many combos in. That's why it's better to put in more finishes. So just, you know, get 1 hit, then a finisher, and then back off, rather than just keep hitting with light attacks. You also get more money as well. Again, not too tricky, but if you do get hit at any point in this one, you may as well just restart. It's much better for you. The last Millionaire battle is against 2 Mr. Shakedowns, except you are very strong Kiryu. Now, the good thing about this is, because they're kind of weak, you could essentially just survive multiple attacks at once, and this is good because in Brawler form, using a heat action refills your health. So what you can do is, if you time it right, you can use a counter hook, knock one of them to the floor, or I don't think it knocks them to the floor, but you can use a counter hook, get a bunch of heat, and just smack them all down. Because the counter hook takes away a bunch of their health at the start of the fight. Really, you could just stick to Brawler form if you want the most damage out of every punch, or you can go into Rush to play it a little safer because of the extra evasiveness of the style, but ultimately it's not too bad. I don't believe money is really a restriction in this one. You don't need to get that much money, but I'd say just avoid getting hit too much, because even if you do get hit, you get so much cash back by putting a counter hook. Getting hit just makes no difference at all. That's all the Millionaire battles for Kiryu. It's pretty short. The last section you unlock after doing all the other Climax battles are the Ultimate battles. These are just boss rushes of various bosses throughout the game. Kiryu's first Ultimate battle, you'll go up against 3 kinda buffed opponents. Go up against Okabe, Oda, and the third Kuze fight. Now, one thing to note is the less enemies there are in one of these, the more buffed they usually are. For instance, in this first one, Kuze will just immediately take away all your health, as will Oda. Be careful of that one. For the first battle against Okabe, there isn't too much of a strategy. You just gotta like take out his goons first. Obviously they're weaker, and I don't know, after that it's a piece of cake. Try using Brawler heat actions as well, it's very beneficial because you get some health back, because you only recover 10% throughout each fight, which is a little lackluster. I'm pretty sure you get the same amount from a Brawler heat action. Again, this one's not too bad. He doesn't do too much damage. It's just they're very, very tanky. He's got like, what, 5 health bars or something? Yeah, not fun. This is the fight with Oda. I would try a beast spam, but be super duper careful because he does way too much damage. One combo will probably take out half your health. I'd say best play it safe, go to Brawler or Rush, you know, go around him. He does have some of that hyper armor bullshit that most fighters have, so just you can't hit him or you can't interrupt his attack. It's best to evade and get some strikes in rather than just full beast in that shit. Last fight is up against Kuze. Yakuza's fight is a little trickier because he's got some really quick attacks, but he also has a lot of objects to do heat actions with. So, brawler form, low health, heat action, repeat. Because when you're in brawler form, you gain heat when you're on critical health. So low health, heat action, repeat. Do some various heat actions, like there's a kettle, there's baskets everywhere, there's a lot of signs as well, so you can use those and just crush his head in. Ultimately, it's pretty easy. Might be left on a little bit of health, but if you can time it right, counter hooks will also be your best friend. For Ultimate Battles 3, you'll go up against 5 opponents. The first fight is up against Nishitani, which is the game's kind of version of Majima, and he's pretty easy. I don't think most of the Majima fights weren't designed for a Kiryu type character. You can really spam him with combos and he will go down pretty easily. Beware of his little fake death thing, because if you even go near him, he'll just like start snipping your legs for some reason. I know he's freaky like that, like, dude, get off. And he's still pretty easy, he doesn't have too much health, not too difficult, doesn't do too much damage. It's pretty simple. Up next is Wenhai Lee. Lee, oh, it is the day I discovered the infinite loop with the beast style. What you can do is, right, you can knock him down in brawler form, you know, give him a good combo. Then you can go quickly to beast style, circle around him, pick him up, do the beast heat action, and just chuck him against the floor and repeat. You could technically just lift him up as many times as you can if you're quick enough, but obviously that's not fun. He is quite open, so you can use counter hooks like 99% of the time. I almost did this fight damageless, so hey, it's pretty easy, man. After that is a fight with Sarah. Now this version of Sarah, he's kind of like the one you fight in the campaign. He's just got a little more health, so obviously if you grab him, he'll just straight up kick you in the fucking chest. He's very punishing, he will stun you a lot, and he does quite a bit of damage. Obviously, because you have rush style, you can just circle around him, or if you use brawler form and you bait an attack out, you can get a good combo in, maybe a snatching strike and take away most of his health. I'd say just be super duper careful, try not to get caught out in the open like you would have Majima, because I know the first time I fought him as Majima, I got my shit handed to me on a gold platter, right? It was not fun. After that fight is a fight with Awano. This one is also one of the fights where you can see it was not designed for Kiryu in mind, because you can just spam any combo, he will go down. There's so much furniture around that you can just spam beast style and he literally can't react. He won't do anything. Obviously, you know, that's not too fun, so you could just, you know, give him a couple combos. He does have this one, I'm pretty sure it's a guard cancel, and he just grabs your arm and he punches you up, but he doesn't do too much damage. It's pretty easy to deal with. Last fight is with Kashiwagi. This one is also, it's a little, he does block a lot. He does have those like moves that are pretty annoying where they just knock you down, deal a lot of damage, but he's not difficult in like Sarah in the way where he just punishes you for being out in the open. He doesn't exactly like cancel your combos, he doesn't do too much damage. He's a relatively nice guy, you know, it's the personality that matters. He is still quite hefty on the health bar, so just be careful of that, you know, use some brawler heat actions if you need them. Eventually you will get him down, and that's the 5 rivals done for Ultimate Battles 3. For Ultimate Battles 5, you have to defeat 10 opponents. The first fight is up against Awano again, so just do some quick beast style spam, you know, that's what I'm saying. Get him down. He's really easy to deal with, he's not difficult at all. After that is a Colosseum boss called Dr. Kirihito. I didn't even know why they added this guy. He's actually a pushover. You'll basically never get damaged by him if you just hit him with a combo. He's really weak, he doesn't do damage at all. He's a joke, right? He's a joke. After that is a fight with Sarah again. This time, he is super duper easy. You can actually grab him this time, and you can do a grab heat action, which is probably the one time you can actually knock him down in the like entire game. He's also much less punishing, so if you get caught out in a combo, he will, I'm pretty sure he does like Yakuza 3 heat action level damage. It does bits and bobs. You really just go about it anyway, just do any combo, he will never punish it 99% of the time. It still isn't even like hurtful at all. It's like him telling you like your feelings don't matter. Oh no, what will I do? Oh, he's a combo for you, he's dead. After that is a fight with Oda. Again, this time, he's much less of a threat because he doesn't do too much damage in this one. So, this time you can actually do a beast spam, and it does quite a bit of damage to him. You can beast spam, or you can just do some heat actions with the chairs, the couches, the vase, the lamps. The heat actions with anything he's going down. So it doesn't have 5 health bars like he did before. So hooray to you, you don't have to do as much. After that is a fight with Yonetta. This guy is pretty easy as well. You know, he's got a knife, so you can just stick in brawler form, do that one knife heat action that apparently never loses damage, and you'll just gain heat back and he'll get half his health lost. You can really just spam a whole entire combo and he'll always block. There might be a one time where he like stabs you, but it just does so little damage, it doesn't even matter. After is a fight with Kuze, so this is the very last fight you'll do with Kuze. Ooh, buddy, he's like the first one, so in the first ultimate battle, but he's less on the health, but he's the same kind of damage, if that makes sense. Does a little less damage, but it's still really punishing, so you don't want to get caught out in the open of them. If you're waiting for the perfect counter hook, trust me, the best way to time it is to just predict it. That is the only way you can do it. So whenever you think he's going to attack, either quick step out of the way or counter hook, because 99% of the time when you think he's going to do it, he will probably do it. It's still relatively easy though. After that is the fight with Lao Gui. Now this guy, he's only in his needles form, so you can do that like brawler heat action with the knives because it technically counts, but he's also like really easy to deal with. He doesn't have too much health. His needles also don't do too much damage. They can't really knock you down. The only problem is obviously because they're like sharp, they'll go through your guard, but it's nothing deep, bro. It's nothing personal. He'll just die anyway. I also don't believe he has too many grab cancels because he just like takes it, so he's pretty easy. After that is a fight with Shibusawa. Now this one might be a little tough because he's got full health, so he's got what, 5 health bars, and he'll be, for his first phase, he'll be in his rush style. He won't go in his beast phase for this one, by the way, so he'll be in his rush style, and the best way you can do it is either counter hooks or just circling around him. He does have this one attack which if you get stuck by it, he can perform it like what, 3 times in a row, and it will force like 10% of your health just out, gone instantly. It happened to me, and it's the reason I failed once, because he hit me with it, and then the second I got up from that forced attack, he hit me again with like, I actually couldn't react. I was spamming quick step, spamming block. I couldn't get out of it, and he just kept hitting me with it. Thankfully he stopped, like he gave me some breathing space, but you know, I still failed. After that is this dragon one. This dragon style, it's really easy to counter hook, if that makes sense. He's got a lot of openings, but he also has this one grab that also forces you to the ground, and it does a bunch of damage, and you can't block it. You can't like, I'm gonna spam X to get out. He will grab you and he will just force you to the ground. He does his full damage, so just be careful of that. But if you could do the Shibusawa fight normally 9 out of 10 times, he'll be fine. He is definitely going to be the most lengthy fight of them all though. After that is another fight with Kashiwagi. I believe he's a little more buffed, or he's just the same as before. So again, you know, he's not punishing that much. He does have a lot of attacks that'll just knock you straight to the floor, so careful of that. But other than that, heat actions, kicking him down, should be fine. The very last fight is up against Nishikiyama. He uses his same moveset from Kiwami 1, but he's a little more lethal because you don't have like the full dragon set with you. Counter hooks are still really effective, but they do way less damage when you're at full heat, and he has a lot of fake out attacks. Or he'll do some attacks where you think you can counter hook it, but you'll just kick and he will knock you both to the floor. He does have a lot of health, but still for a final boss in the ultimate battle, he's not that tricky. Shibusawa, I would argue, if he was the final one, that would make it more fitting. But once you get Nishiki down, that's all the climax battle is complete, and you should receive an item into your box. I'm not sure about that, don't hold me onto that. Just know, that's all the climax battles. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe, share it around, do what you want, and have a lovely day. Part Majima is coming out soon, so be tuned for that. See you in the next one.